So, it's the morning after the game. I could have done my video last night, but I really felt like I should just sleep on it, get my thoughts together, and do the video first thing this morning. Where to start last night, guys? Honestly, let's just. I'm gonna go through some individuals, I think, and give my thoughts on it all. So first off, Gomez, probably the worst performance I've seen from a Liverpool centre back for seasons now. Going back to your Dejan Lovren days, that third goal. How did the ball go from being practically at Gomez's feet? If you watch it back again, there was like potentially a couple of seconds where Gomez is like, because the lad's pulling him from behind, or like, muscling him or something. Do you know what I mean? He could have just lashed at it, kicked it out, give away a throw in, just do something. Give us a bit of breathing space. But for some reason, he didn't do that, and the ball went from practically being at his feet to the opponent, who was, as I said, stood behind him and just outstrengthened him to get the ball. Now, Gomez is a big lad. Like, how is that possible? And I think that one moment was basically the review of the whole game for me. We were just outfought, outworked, outmaneuvered, and just, yeah, they were just better than us in all aspects of the game, really, weren't they? I do think, though, that Gomez was exposed by several things, really. Trent, no desire whatsoever to defend, was there, really? Like, this was evident in the second goal that we conceded. He just basically allowed the person to get past him, like simple kick around him, ran onto the ball, and then he basically just stood there and allowed them to play a 1-2 around Gomez. If he'd have been there supporting Gomez, that 1-2, that pass would never have happened. But he's just stood there, hands on his hips, and just allowed it to happen. For me now, for Trent, I would potentially play him in midfield. We only play him like in our 11 because of his passing ability as it is anyway, and his ability to pick a pass out of nothing. He's really good at that. He's really, really good at that. But he's just getting so exposed now defending wise, where it's becoming a liability, and it's becoming the one spot where teams are now basically aiming for him constantly. They were doing that anyway, but I don't get what's gone on with him this season. I really don't. So for me, quick fix at the moment, I'd play Gomez at right back, which I know is not ideal right now, but I'd do that until Ramsey becomes fit, and then I'd give him a bit of a go, like we did with Trent in the early days. Hopefully he's good enough. And then we buy another right back, to complement Ramsey, and just play Trent in midfield. We're lacking midfielders at the moment. Put Trent in. I know it's not going to happen, but that's what I'd do. Like, Trent was originally a midfielder in like the academy and stuff, I think. Like, I was reading Pep Linder's book, Intensity, I think it's called. And he basically said that Trent was his number 6 for the academy team that he were doing when he first came. Like, yeah, that's Trent, man, honestly. I think as well, you look at it as well, that side. If you look at that side, not including the front three, this season we've had Elliott, Gomez and Trent as our three there. Teams will be absolutely licking their lips at the possibility of that, won't they? Like, there's no muscle there apart from Gomez. There's no defending from Trent, and you've got Elliott, who's like a 19-year-old kid who's still kind of learning his trade. Like, it's just not good enough, is it, really, guys? Fabinho, he needs a rest for me. He's simply just not offering the same protection that he normally did do. I think there was a pass in the 70-odd minute where he kind of passed it and we were lucky not to lose it. Like, it just looked like a tired pass. Like, again, for him, I think he could probably put points at him as well for the second goal. He should be dropping between the centre-backs when we don't have the ball. So then Matip can go out to help Trent and Van Dijk can go out to help Robbo, because Fabinho is going to be there, do you know? But I just don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if it's the way that Klopp's trying to get him play this season. I really don't. Milner, great figurehead, an example for the young ones in training, as well as the older ones as well. This is how you keep a longevity in your career. But he shouldn't be starting games at this level anymore. And I know that Klopp's hands are tied due to what we've got going on with the midfielders at the moment, but that's on the owners as well. But we just got overrun in midfield with Milner being there. His lack of speed was evident today. And then he just throws in a rash tackle, gets a booking, and for me, before he got subbed off, like, he was on the verge of getting a red for me. Like, yeah, I honestly thought he was pretty much on the verge of getting a red card, so he needed to come off that pitch, definitely, he really did. The structure and the system of the team is just not working at all. We're over-reliant on VAR to help us out when we're defending now. We've got our high line is so high, we're playing with the offside trap, but you can't play that when your line's not even level. You know, when Matip came on, there was one occasion where he'd come further forward and not dropped back like the rest of them had, and the line wasn't straight, so we're just too open at the back, aren't we? We really are. And Van Dijk standards have just dropped so much this season. I don't know what's going on with him either. Like, I don't know if he's got something going on field or if he's just... Did we not notice this last year, you know, when he came back from that serious injury? Like, I don't get it. Like, he seems to have just lost something. Like, that's the second penalty he's given away this season now. To be honest as well, that penalty he did give away this game, like, it was a little soft. It was soft. I potentially, because I do referee sometimes, wouldn't have given it, but it's Europe, innit? Champions League, stuff like that's given. So, I can't really argue with it, really. Now, let's go to attacking, because I'm not really going to speak much about the midfield today, hopefully, even though I've spoke about a few of the players, but we know the problems in midfield, but yeah, anyway, the attacking. Salah's still non-existent this season, is he? Like, probably one of the slowest starts he's had as a Liverpool player. His heat map is very similar to previous seasons where he's been banging in the goals, but it looked like he's been asked to play a different way, you know, to fit Núñez in. And it just negates his best quality, which is getting a goal for us. The amount of times I've seen Salah out wide and looking for a pass, whereas Salah of old would have cut inside, ran with the ball, you know, had one of his famous left foot shots into the far corner. But he's just not getting involved, and he really needs to get more involved closer to the goal to be able to score. Is this down to how Klopp's been asking him to play, or is this down to teams frigging him out? You know, it could be that, couldn't it, really? Let's wait and see how it goes on for the rest of the season. I'm not one to say it's down to his new contract just yet, because I do think it could be down to the way he's been asked to play. But let's see how it goes with Salah. Diaz, for me, was probably the bright spot out of the whole team. His energy and his desire to actually want to win the game was just apparent all game. But is it just me? But do you get slightly frustrated with Diaz sometimes when he just gets the ball and he'll just like run? And it's like he's running into a cul-de-sac all the time. Like he goes into a dead end and he misses several opportunities to pass the ball. Like, yeah, he scores good goals when he cuts inside sometimes. But do you not think as well when he cuts in, he always overruns it, doesn't he? He could pass it back to one of the midfielders or look for that pass into the box where like you've got Salah, Firmino, Núñez, Jota, whoever, stood there waiting for the ball to be passed. But he just keeps running and running and running. Yeah, that's Diaz for me. I thought it were good tonight, but I am very aware that he seems to just run down into a cul-de-sac half the time. Darwin, he needs more time, guys. I think when we originally signed him and City signed Haaland, we were all like, oh, Darwin's going to score more goals. But I think deep down we all knew that Haaland was going to be the one that hit the floor running. When everything else is not working, you know, the midfield, the defence, working the work of play to getting the ball in the box, we can't expect Darwin to be scoring bags full of goals. You know, it isn't going to happen. He's not got the service. And we're just constantly, I feel like as well, in our play at the moment, and I know it's something that we've always generally done, you know, where Trent and Robbo get like a boatload of assists. But at the moment, we're constantly giving the ball out to Robbo and Trent and then looking at them to pass the ball, cross it into the box. And we've got nobody there, especially when Darwin's not on the pitch. I know Jota can score headers, but we aren't the tallest team in the league, are we? Let's be honest right now, yeah? And especially, with, like I just said, without Darwin on there, we're aiming at nothing. because we've got Salah who's not coming into the box anymore, so we're not getting him, late arriving at the back post and tap it in. We've got no movement at all. Like, there was a few occasions in this game, for instance, like, we had them all just kind of like lined up on the edge of the box when Robbo's got the ball, and he's like looking, and it's like, who's making that run for him from deep? Who's coming in last minute at the far post? Nobody. So he just passes it back, or he puts a cross in, but because we're all so far out, no one's going to win it and get a header and score. So it's just a pointless exercise that we're doing right now. And this kind of leads me to like my main point of this whole video is FSG have yet again left Jurgen Klopp under-equipped. And as I said in my previous video, I'll put a link of it above somewhere around here. We made £123 million from prize money last year alone. That's not including TV revenue. That's not including match day revenue, anything like that. That is just prize money alone, just due to how well we did last year. And we spent £8 million after players sold and whatnot. Like, is this why Michael Edwards decided to leave? Because he knew he was going to be asked to work miracles again with lack of investment? Like, this is a consequence of us continuing to try to break even in every single transfer window of late and just expecting Klopp to do his miracles, but he's ran out of them. Let's be honest, Klopp's ran out of what he can and can't do now. With the players that he's got, we're lacking so much in midfield, and it's aging, and it's very apparent now. Like, and when Jurgen Klopp's midfield doesn't work, which is like the cog, one of the main cogs in his machine that drives his teams forward, it destroys the entire system of play that we've got. Melo today, our emergency panic loan that we got last minute. What can we expect from him right now? Recent. He's hardly trained with us, and he hardly trained with Juventus during pre-season. So how can we expect him to come in and just hit the ground running? It's not going to work at all. Melo needs more time to settle in. But, he's a panic loan, isn't he? So, cheers, FSG. The presser, though, afterwards was very interesting, I thought. To me, Klopp was dejected. He wasn't angry. I get the feeling that he knows the individuals, which is a bit stupid of me to say, but he knows which individuals are letting the team down right now. And I think as well at the same time, he's basically trying... In that press conference, I had the feeling he was pretty much on the verge of going, I don't have the players I want. But how do you say that when the team's in the situation that it is and you need to get them ready to play again against Wolves at the weekend? Like he said that he needs time to try and revent the side. Not to be one of those that's having a go at Klopp right now, but shouldn't that have been done during pre-season? Not during the season? It's a bit of a joke if you need to reinvent now. Is it not? Jurgen's earned our faith, I think. He's been with us a long time. He's revolutionised the side. He's a Liverpool legend to me. So I think all of those of you that are calling for him to be sacked now need to take a look at yourself, really. Like, who are you going to get to replace him right now? Tuchel? Are you being for real? He's just been sacked by Chelsea, one of our rivals this year. Because let's not get this wrong. You can forget about the title this year, and you can forget about probably winning the Champions League this year, unless we really pull it round. We're looking at a top 4 fight this year, for sure. And Chelsea are getting Graham Potter by the looks of it, who I would take at Liverpool when Jurgen's time it has ended. Wouldn't take him now. Jurgen deserves a bit more time to turn this around. So I'm not having any of this sack Jurgen. I'm really not. Yes, he's stubborn. Yes, he's stuck in his ways. But he's just mentioned in his presser that he knows that we need to reinvent ourselves. So let's give him the time to do this. One last thing before I go. This is a wake-up call for Liverpool, this game, this result. Like, it's been coming. I think that we were going to get absolutely battered by a team. Napoli's a lot more of a different opponent than what we've been used to so far this season. But yeah, we got undone. Can you imagine if we were playing City instead of Napoli? I think it would have been a lot worse. You know, we had a wake-up call against Villa a few years ago when we got beat 7-1 or whatever it was. But how many of those do we need now before something changes? And as Jurgen said in his presser, I think he's become very aware of that now. So let's give him the time to see what he can do. We do have Wolves at the weekend. If we don't get a reaction in that game, then I think the problems go a lot deeper than we actually think they are right now. You know, yeah, there's something going on with Keita that I'll probably do another video about straight after this one. But yeah. Anyway, guys, that's the end of my thoughts on the game and potentially of what's been going on with Liverpool since the beginning of the season. What's your thoughts? Leave a comment down below. I'll get back to them as I can do throughout the day. And yeah, hopefully we'll get a reaction on Wednesday. I mean, on against Wolves, sorry, on Saturday. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.